Hi, welcome to our second video. I want to say thank you to all of you that have come by the first video. I think there are easily 30 or 40 views, so we are rocketing our way to internet stardom. And to the 7 of you that have subscribed already, love you, man. I mean that. In all seriousness, I do appreciate everyone that came by. It's been great fun putting together the video, hearing some feedback, and I'm looking forward to getting on with the video and doing these things on a regular basis. All right, so first of all, to finish up from last week, I talked a little bit about Wuthering Waves. Actually, I talked in great length about Wuthering Waves, and one of the things I was looking forward to was this new banner, this new convene that's coming out, and for polling for this new character, Changli, that is available. And I did that poll earlier this week, and I got her. I'm very excited. I was able to get her on my last 10 poll that I could do before running completely out of Asterite and having to dip into the wallet. And as a mostly free-to-play player, that feels really good, right? To not have to dip into the wallet. And as I was actually explaining to my wife is not a gamer, but she's been married to a game developer and a gamer for over 3 decades. And so she's, knows how these things work just by sheer virtue of exposure. But I was explaining to her kind of how gacha games work, because gacha games and I are relatively new partners. And the fact that, I was explaining how banners work and how they're really just glorified loot chests and what your odds are of getting any particular character and how many times you can pull. And then, of course, at some point, if you run out of the currency that you're using to pull with, then you go and you buy some other currency and then exchange that currency for the currency that you pull with. And so I was expressing my excitement at getting Changli without having to dip into the wallet. And she's like, well, what do you mean dip into the wallet? And I'm like, actually spend some money and get another set of, get more Asterite so that I could make more pulls. And she goes like real money, like our money? And I'm like, yeah, honey, like our money. She goes, well, would you have done that? And I'm like, it may come as a surprise being married to a game developer and game player for 30 plus years. But yes, I do occasionally spend money on games. And she's like, I didn't really need to hear that, need to know that. But I didn't. The marriage is saved. I did not have to spend money on this particular time for Changli. And I am so... She's a great character. And by great character, I mean, well, just look at her. This is a character with incredible, enormous potential. And it's funny, I've already started leveling her, and I've heard from already sort of internet grousing, people bitching about the fact she's not as powerful as they thought she should be. And I spent all this money pulling for her, and she's only sub DPS. And people... she is actually great. She wants to be on the field for longer than a standard sub DPS. She works though in dual DPS teams. She will work as a sub DPS. She'll work as primary DPS. She's a little hard to get the flow of her set because of the way it works, and it's taken me quite a bit of practice to kind of start figuring out how to build her forte bar because it's not intuitive like it is for some of the other characters. But man, her animations are freaking fantastic. And she's very powerful. She's not as powerful as Jin C, but that's because Jin C is so freaking broken. I mean, this character is over the top in terms of the amount of damage. So no, she doesn't do the amount of damage output that Jin C is. If you're pulling for a solid heavy DPS character, you should have pulled for Jin C. She's definitely the best DPS in the game and continues to be right now. But if you're pulling for a character that is gorgeous and has an enormous amount of style and flair and also a solid DPS, Changli is the way to go. You can't go wrong. So yes, I'm very excited. But this whole, so I just wanted to chat a little bit about that and finish that up. But this entire vlog is mostly supposed to be about the World of Warcraft pre-patch. Words are hard. Pre-patch event for the War Within. So, which came out, started yesterday, technically yesterday, although the servers were down the entire day. And so no one got on until maybe very late yesterday evening. I got on this morning, was able to do some of the basic stuff, but I haven't been able to play much since then. I'm looking forward to playing a little bit maybe later tonight, or certainly later this week and this weekend. But why am I excited about the War Within? So first of all, a little bit of history for me in World of Warcraft. I've been playing WoW since, I think I mentioned this maybe in the previous, but I've been playing all the way since 2004 during the Friends and Family Alpha. So WoW is like a second home to me. I've pretty much maintained a subscription in some form the entire time, all 2004, 2024. So 20 years that I've been playing this game. And so I do wander away from the game, but then almost always inevitably come back. And so I played Dragonflight, had a great time with Dragonflight. Thought it was a good expansion, much better than Shadowlands, but that's a different video and topic altogether. But when I got to the end game in Dragonflight, I wandered away and went off and did things. And this is pretty much me when it comes to World of Warcraft. I wouldn't consider myself a filthy casual, but I'm also not an in-game playing character. I don't do Mythic plus progression. I really don't like or care for Mythic dungeons. I hate the fact that I've never been able to queue for them with LFR, which is because I'm mostly an ungilded player. I have a guild, but it's a guild of like 3. Then I don't typically can field enough people to do Mythic progression with people I know, and rando groups are just straight up toxic, I find. And the same is for raiding. I wouldn't mind, doing some raid progression, but I don't have the kind of schedule that I can commit to a steady raid schedule. And so my in-game, and I just really don't care for PvP much at all. So my in-game content, when I typically get to the end of an expansion or I've leveled up my character to the character max, is world quests, and heroic dungeons, and LFRs. And that's pretty much it. And the War Within offers a new opportunity for players like me called delves. What are delves? Well, delves are instances essentially that scale from 1 to 4 players. So you can, 1 to 4, the scale in difficulty. You can go in solo, you can go into a whole group of 4, but more important, they are role agnostic. So if you and your 2 DPS buddies want to jump in and do the delve, you can do so together. So those 2 things to get there alone are super exciting for me. So me and my 2 friends that play WoW together, the 3 of us can run delves and have a great time doing it. And we earn in-game level content. And it's, essentially an alternative to Mythic Plus progression and raiding. I don't honestly know if it's going to provide the same eye level gear that the highest in raiding. I wouldn't expect that it would. I haven't looked at it that closely. But as long as it offers competent in-game gear so that I can continue to, participate in delves and I feel a sense of progression, that's really all I want out of some in-game content. And it's instanced, but there are no loading screens. They want it to feel very much like a part of the world, like a very light phasing, essentially. So delves, and then I mentioned you also get a NPC. I think it's Bronzebeard. Bran Bronzebeard is the character, your NPC that you will get for this season, and you level them up. You can provide skills. You get some new perks, and you can sort of specialize him in 1 of 3 different ways. So you can make him more of a tanky character or more of a DPS character if you want, and all that's really cool. I find that very exciting. So delves are the main reason that I'm coming back to the War Within, that I really finally feel like I'm ready to play WoW again, because I haven't been ready to play WoW in quite a long time. But then there's also some other very cool things added to this expansion. The big thing, of course, is warbands, and warbands essentially just sort of officially recognizing account-bound progression in sort of a very cool in-game way. So you get basically progression is now account bound. Your transmogs are all account bound. Any character can collect any transmog piece for any other armor set, and it just goes into your account bound collection. Currency, they provide an account bound bank now, so you can swap information back and forth, or gear and not information. You can swap money and coin and reagents and gear between your characters easily using the account-bound bank, the Warband bank. Of course, it's down right now, the pre-patch yesterday, and they haven't been able to bring it up yet, so I assume it'll be fun, but we don't know because it's not available yet. So I'm really very excited. Just a lot of really good quality of life stuff for warbands. There's a bunch of other shit, and I'm sure you can go to Wowhead and get the latest on everything that's involved in the expansion. New dungeons, whole new zones, all of the stuff that comes with the new expansion, typically, and that's all very cool. I love story content, and I love exploring new zones, so I'm very, that'll be all fun. But the promise of delves and all of the quality of life improvements with the warbands are the 2 real big reasons that I've decided to come back to World of Warcraft. So the pre-patch launched yesterday, technically, but the servers are down all day, so it didn't in fact come up until this morning for all intents and purposes. And what can you do right now? Because the big pre-patch event, which you'll use to level your characters, doesn't actually start until July 30th, and that's the Radiant Echoes event. And like other, like Legion Invasions, like other pre-patch events, these Radiant Echo rifts will open up periodically every 30 minutes in zones, and then you'll go and do events, and there'll be world quests, and there'll be world events. There will be iLevel 49 catch-up gear available to your players. Any character from like level 10 up can participate in the Radiant Echoes. Pretty sure that's the case. Don't come at me if it's wrong, but the whole point of this is that leveling during the pre-patch is going to be super, super fast. So if you have characters to start leveling or you want to level up, now is the time to jump on and do it during the 3 weeks, 4 weeks we have before the actual expansion launches. So if Radiant Echoes don't come out until next week, what can you do this week or right now with the pre-patch? Well, actually, not very much. I mean, yeah, there's plenty to do, but the real grind and the real fun stuff won't start until next week with the Radiant Echoes events. But there are some things you can do, and if you're looking to come back, here are some of the things that you should probably tackle. So first of all, you can get your UI sorted out and get your add-ons sorted out, and that's always sort of a necessary beast to tackle whenever you come back. But for the first time, I've got shed of ElvUI and I'm using just the natural WoW interface, and it's really much better. It got much better in Dragonflight, and they've continued to improve upon it. So I really like it. It looks nice, and I'm pretty happy with my UI right now. The other thing you want to do is to clean out your bags, and again, that's all the thrill of cleaning out an inbox. But honestly, nothing feels better than like opening up your bag and seeing it mostly empty, and opening up your bank space and seeing it mostly empty. It's time to get rid of all those renown items from Dragonflight and get rid of all the additional miscellaneous crap that you've been collecting from Dragonflight and all of the seasons. So yeah, spend a little time and get those banks sorted out. Hopefully, if they get the Warband bank turned on this week, then using your Warband bank will make it easier to move stuff amongst your alts and to clean out the bags for all of your alts, theoretically. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I would definitely spend some time in going through all of my banks and all of my level 70 characters and cleaning out the bags. And then lastly, you can't begin the pre-patch event until you've completed the Harbinger quest. So it's really important, if you haven't done so yet, to log into all of your alts and do that Harbinger quest. It takes about a little over an hour. I did it for my mage today at lunchtime, and I wasn't quite finished after my lunchtime hour was up. But yeah, so a little bit, maybe an hour and 15 minutes to get that done. Not too bad, but go and get that done on all of your alts so that next week, when the pre-patch event does come out and those quests come out, you are ready for them. And that's it. I think those are the big things. Mostly it's just kind of getting back into the flow of playing WoW again, remembering how to WoW. Logged in. If you're watching my mage right now, you can see I'm struggling to remember how to fire mage. But yeah, that kind of stuff, just getting familiar and decide who you're going to main, right? Because like me, you quite likely may have multiple level 70 characters. I'm actually leveling a paladin right now in the Pandaren remix, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of contemplating maining a paladin this expansion, but I don't know. Most likely I'll stay with my hunter that I've been using for 100 years or so, but we'll see. So yeah, come and join me in the pre-patch. I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys out there, or if not seeing you, then come comment on the video and tell me if you've decided to play in the pre-patch and play in WoW or not. If you decided not to, I get that too. And then I want to thank you guys for coming back. I will be digging into the World of Warcrafts here for the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure what next week will cover. I guess I'll decide that when I get closer to Monday. I can't figure these things out too much in advance, but it'll be something stupidly exciting. So, you guys, you'll just have to wait and find out. In the meantime, of course, I'll be spending all my money in Wuthering Waves. Don't tell my wife. Trying to pull for Changli's weapon because I didn't get that. All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week. Talk to you soon.